Hello and welcome to the Lost Pines Workshop. I'm JC Jensen. This is episode 2 of our beginning woodworking series. We're going to talk a little bit about design, whether it be furniture design or any other type of woodworking project design. Um, so we want to make something. What do we want to make? Perhaps it's something as simple as a long grain cutting board. What dimensions do we need? The length and the width, type of handle, how are we going to pick it up? What's its use? What's its ultimately, using professional terms, what's its utility? What will the item be used for or used to do? In thinking about your design, these are, that's the basic premise of why we make something. It's intended to do or perform a function. On top of that, or in addition to that, what type of aesthetics? Do we want it to just be, again, just a plain, simple, long grain, single species wood? Or do we want it to be highly decorative? Still Unitarian, but perhaps it has a pattern to it, right? It has a groove. In this case, this groove has a function, which is to catch juice from fruits and vegetables that you're cutting, so it doesn't run off onto your countertop. Where this other one does not. It's just plain, right? So form and function and aesthetics. Do we want it simple? Do we want it highly decorative? Yet another thing that we should look at is proportions. In designing furniture pieces, we want to look at the proportions of each piece. Do they are they proportionately attractive to each other? We don't have these two pieces of scrap here. I don't have two items of disproportionate sizes joining together, whether this way or this way. How are they going to go together? Are they proportionally appealing? That's kind of where I was going for there. Is each thing, in other words, is it to scale with each other? From top to bottom, left to right, front to back, is everything dimensionally, proportionally, aesthetically pleasing? So how do we achieve that? Well, first we develop that idea. What is it we want to make? Then from there, we may move on to something as simple as a sketch. So this was the sketch. I don't know if you can see it really well. Sketch that I did for the spinning wheel. If you've seen any of my Instagram posts, there's a spinning wheel frame that I've designed, and I'm working on getting put together. It was simply a sketch giving me the height of the item, the width that it needed to be. I already knew the function. It was just a matter of developing a sketch, giving me a basis from which to work. There are other ways of doing it. This was a chair. Haven't started production on it yet. My wife took the picture from the internet somewhere, and we calculated based on her height how tall, how high the seat needed to be above the floor, which gives me, proportionately how long the legs were going to be, how high the back was going to be. You can subscribe to a magazine, and it explains the pieces and parts that are necessary, say, to build a chest of drawers. You can buy full sets of plans for a particular item. That chest of drawers, for instance, there are plans out there that are available that will give you not only the drawings, but the instructions on how to fabricate each of the components, how they are assembled, how are they joined together, what is it using a joinery, is it using fasteners, how that item is put together. I will caution you, however, 9 times out of 10, the plans that you purchase, there will be errors. There will be errors in there. And if you're not paying really close attention before you cut something, you may end up with a boo-boo that you're going to have to remake something or figure out, you found the mistake on accident or in the process and something doesn't work. Now you've got to figure out how to make it work. Another option. I oftentimes develop that idea. I want to make this. You can use graph paper, as I did here, and scale your drawing. I don't remember what the scale was on this. Doesn't really matter. But so this was for the interior doors in our home. I like a solid wood door, not the hollow core doors that are typically in our homes. Ours were messed up anyway, so I took them all out, threw them in the trash, and I constructed based on an older design, craftsman style house design. Oh, you're just in time. This set of doors. Simple sketch dimensions for each opening and constructed each door. So you have lots of options. Your next step might be, say for instance with this cutting board and the handle, if you're going to repeat the process, you're going to make more than one of these, then you can take your simple drawing, make it full size, cut that out, and create yourself a template. So if I want to reproduce this handle on a cutting board over and over again, I can simply lay it on the piece of wood and trace it. Take it to the bandsaw, in this case, and cut it out. So it gives me a repeatable template to work from. Lots of options, but design, you need to put some thought into that. And then transferring that design to paper, you can do it as I do with a pencil, which I found for me, it works out the best. Or perhaps you're good with computers and software, you can use SketchUp. SketchUp offers a free and professional version to help you create that drawing in 3 dimensions. One that's been out there for a really long time, it's now owned by Adobe, is AutoCAD. If you are, architect, you're very familiar with that. It's been around for a long time. Bob, I've forgotten his name. The guy that created AutoCAD used to be my next door neighbor when I was a little kid. Still lives in Pryor, Oklahoma. AutoCAD's been up and running. Lots of similar software programs out there to create your 2D drawing, 3D drawing, and from that you can go as far as to print or make your own step-by-step instructions, your template. In this case, this is actually a textbook, I'll call it, that woodworking professional Michael Kolka here from Texas. He teaches the advanced woodworking course over at Austin Community College, and he's put together this handout or textbook that gives you an exploded view of what it is they're creating, and then goes in and creates detailed drawings of the components so the students understand dimensionally what each aspect of that component is. So you've got lots of opportunity there. Going back to utility, why do we create something? Kim, you want to talk about your wheel?
Sure, let me grab a wheel.
I got one right here.
Oh, you got one? Okay.
This is a wheel that Kim is currently restoring. Come on over in here. Now that I've covered up the ability for people to see your face.
That's okay, I don't really want to be seen. But, okay, so yeah, this is a spinning wheel. It was designed to spin fiber into thread. Then the thread was turned into cloth and people made clothes out of it. When this was actually used in the 1800s, many people, this was the sole way they made cloth. So the design and function of it were very important because it was used a lot Can you imagine having a family of 6 or 7 people and having to keep them clothed with this? And they would sit and they would spin and spin and spin. And then there was someone in the village that would have a loom. They'd send their yarn to the village, and it would be woven for them. And then they could sew with it or whatever. But yeah, this is a great example of design for function. Okay, back to JC.
Well, it wasn't just designed for function. You've got all of these cool pieces in here that are strictly decorative. So yes, it's utilitarian, but at the same time they've added some design characteristics to it, because it was a piece of furniture as well in their home, to make it look rather pleasing. So there you go. Function. So what are we going to design? Figure out what it is you want to design, what it is that you want to make. Draw yourself a sketch as your starting point, and look at the proportions. Think about the proportions and how you want the overall piece to look. You may draw each component. You may create templates. Any of these methods will just get you on the path to success down the road before you start cutting wood. Wood is a wonderful product, but like everything else, inflation is biting us in the wallet here with our materials, so there's no need to waste good material. Come on, develop yourself a good plan ahead of time. So that is it for this episode. On our next episode, we're going to get into joinery, and I will demonstrate some different joints that we can use in our furniture or our construction. And we'll see you down the road. Thanks again for joining us.